Yu-Gi-Oh! Mint.com is now TradingCardMint.com. Please check out their selection of over 20,000 cards with prices cheaper than TCG Player.
Alright, by popular request, we're going to be covering the Dimensional Robo deck profile pre-set drop. So, it's going to have our proxies in it. I kind of actually started to understand that people wanted to see these more before the sets drop. That way people were more educated in kind of what we were doing and things like that. So, kind of something we're going to do from now on. So, check out our friends at TradingCardMint.com down below if you are looking to pick up the cards that you are missing for this deck on release date. Remember, enter MCL40 on checkout. Save a little bit of money on your purchase. Of course, they're awesome people. They've been in the community for years, not just, Cardfight Vanguard alone, Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. So, TradingCardMint.com. Remember, enter MCL40 on checkout. We did it. Alright, so this deck takes a lot of the former qualities of the previous deck. The deck is very much One Punch Man still today, which, doesn't really change things, because what you're going to try to do is we're trying to get this guy on the field, we're trying to slam our opponent and win the game. And as unlikely as it might come up that we're not going to, this is your game plan. You dedicate your resources to this. Swing 90,000, swing 100,000, 200,000. You do things. Your opponent's got the PG, well, 'tis life. So, we play 4 copies of the D-Robo die liner. The thing we care about with this is continuous on Vanguard Circle. All of our grade 3s gain shield. So you get 10,000 on that. And then once return, count +1, soul +1, look at top 7 from your deck, reveal up to 1 normal unit from among them, put it in your hand. And if you reveal the grade 3, this unit gets 20,000 power and crit +1. This is obviously the ideal ride target. You want to go first in this deck, I feel. I think you want to stick this on the field and just go to town. The value that you get out of this card is immense. Granted, it doesn't do anything outside of that, but I think it does enough for what you would want on the deck. Now, in the same fashion of going first, we still play the 4 copies of Dayusha. Honestly, slamming your opponent for 3 damage is still the most satisfying feeling in the world. When you go with this, gain your crit, your opponent no guard, you hit the extra crit. It's a good time to be alive. But the power that you get from the plays with this deck are almost insane. I do think that the pressure that you get from this very much warrants still wanting to play it, plus with giving, force to the Vanguard to make sure that you're hitting those key numbers. It's the thing I like about D-Police is when you're pushing those large numbers and you're slamming for the win, we did it. So there's that. Now, the thing that you want on the turn that you're going into this guy is this. Now, this is the new support card that they gave D-Police. Counterblast 1 at the end of the battle. Tuck this guy on in to the soul. Give your Vanguard drive +1 and 10,000 power, which is so amazing. And then, of course, your Vanguard has to be 35,000 or more to activate the effect. Should be no problem when you're on Excal. And then, if you have to ride this continuous Vanguard Circle during your turn, this gets 5k for each card in your damage zone. So, if your opponent, punched you for 2 damage, you're at least 23 base. If you give it the force marker, you're 33. So, I guess that's a good passive if you've been dealt damage in that regard. You'll be able to pressure your opponent on the following turn. So, I do like that this card has dual functionality for the fact that you have to ride it, or, obviously this is the best rear guard that I want to see in the deck. So, kudos to you for making such a great card. I love this. And before I get any further, this list was inspired off of a OCG list that came up recently, so that is something to point out. I get most of my information from Japanese Twitter, so it is important to say where we got these things, because we are not the sole creator of this. We're just testing ideas at the moment, seeing where things are going. So, played the 4 copies of ye old Die Bird, Die Friend, Die Dragon. This card literally, Soul Blast, give your Vanguard 5k, actually, and give this thing extra 10k, which, for what this does, this is a good card. I love the fact that if you hit the stand trigger with this, you just go back to town, because this thing is huge. Now, this is an interesting one. When I first started seeing this, I was like, why are we playing this? If your Vanguard's grade is less than your opponent's. So on the turn that your opponent has strode, you have this in your hand. This is a 20,000 shield, by the way. So 10k power, 20k shield. Oh, don't mind if I do. Value town, ladies and gentlemen. I'm surprised they made this, honestly. Overall, they were looking for ways to give Deep Police compensatable shield value. Because one of the problems that I see that the deck has the more that I've played it is you play grade 3s. So they have to compensate in terms of other card value. And this was very good. Then we have one copy of the Miracle Dandy. We play the 9 grade 2s. Obviously, this is just another big buff for shield value. So when you're guarding out there, you get it. Obviously, the new ones are a lot better, but we did need one more grade 2 to compensate. Now, this is the card that makes this deck viable. Commander Laurel. Pay 1 or Counterblast 1, rest 4 of your homies. Double your Vanguard's power and give it an extra crit. I didn't actually think there'd ever be a time that this card would surpass Old Laurel, but we've actually done it. This card allows for one Puncher Man to swing for ridiculous numbers. I think we've been slamming 190, 200,000 second stride. Alright, and if your opponent doesn't have a PG to stop by that point in the game, it's usually over. Plus, it gives an extra crit, so we're turning those large monsters into these threatening beasts, and it's so good. Then we play 4 of this. This is our ride target, ideally. So, burst while in the soul. You put this in your drop zone. If your Vanguard is 10,000 or greater, choose one of your Vanguards with a burst ability. High. Give it 4k until the end of the turn. If your Vanguard's power is 35,000 or greater, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets another 4k. So, basically drop this on out of the soul if you've met the requirements. We're going to go ahead, we're going to power up your Vanguard by 8,000. On a doubling turn, oh my, the value. Gotta love the proxies because we weren't sure if we wanted to order them even though they're cheap. We have the 4 copies of the Enigman. Just getting the free bounce out of this when you've met conditions, I definitely like about this. Now, granted, when I first started playing this, I was like a little bit up in the air about it. I was like, do we really value this? Yeah. This has been coming up because you don't have room for draw PGs in this deck, so you have to do your best to kind of come up with the best things that you can do. So, testing for Enigma Calm at the moment. Our starter is ye olde Dayusha, draw 1. Now, we play 7 copies of stand triggers. Obviously, on a Commander Laurel turn, when you're resting something, it's not really bad. The thing we care about with this, though, is Shield Break. 12 grade 3s in the deck. This is additional draw power, sticks itself back in the deck. On your restand swing, you draw 2 cards. Absolute monster of a card. Both of these are amazing. Insta draw, tuck it on into the soul. We did it. No problem. Shield Break active. Swinging for 200,000 with Shield Break, by the way, is lolzy. Like, unless your opponent has 2 BGs, good luck. Now, we play 5 crit triggers. Just to make sure we can pressure our opponent, and then 2 copies of our heal triggers diversified between countercharging and bigger buff shields. Now, G-Zone. We play 3 copies of One Punch Man. Generic GB3. If you got that heal trigger, by the way, you're going to Value Town, because GB3, this guy gets an extra 1,000 for each face-up card in your G-Zone. And you get the free restand. Also, if you've got this at 5 drive checks on the first one, you at least get 1 drive on the next swing. This card is bonkers. For sub support, play the 2 copies of the Great Direth. This does come up. This does bring your boy out of the deck. That gives an additional drive check, which is really good. 2 copies of this guy. We don't really go into this anymore. This is just, he kind of exists at this point. 1 copy of the Ultimate Win Condition. 6 credit the Vanguard. This card is so good. This card is nuts. So if you go into this and you have the Counterblast, you have this. Enjoy your Stark swinging for 6 drive checks, by the way. It's weird. It comes up. It's broken. Play the 1 copy of our Progenitor Dragon, just in case we need it. 1 copy of Sabriz, G-Guardians, Zale, a Gleam, Karavu, and the 2 copies of the Supercharge G-Guardian, just to make sure that we get more defense. That wraps up our Dimensional Robo deck profile for My Glorious Justice for the preview. Guys, please check out tradingcardmint.com down below, enter code 40 on checkout, save a little bit of money on your purchase, and guys, peace out.
That's not all, card fighters. Please subscribe for more Cardfight Vanguard content. Please remember to check out mcole40 for Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and please check out mcolegames.com, my store, along with No Limit Gaming and lgtcg.com for all of your guys' trading card game needs as well. Until next time, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. Later.